Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube, back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys and gals. I'm here to give my review for episode 20 of Dark Shadows. Written by Art Wallace, narrated by Alexander Molkials, and directed by Leo Swift. Same old, same old. I really like how they show the car pulling up to the restaurant. So we do, in this episode, we get a bit of both. By both, I mean we get actual location and set design. The the building of the hotel isn't just for backdrop in this episode. It's actually we're actually pulling up to they're actually pulling up to it in Roger's convertible. Roger's driving with one good on. Roger's driving. I wonder why he doesn't let Vicky drive the car. That's why. I mean, I could see not letting Barnabas drive the. No, no, he's not here yet. I still wouldn't let Barnabas drive the car even if he was there. Just saying. uh, God, could you imagine Barnabas driving the convertible? Oh my God! But he's a ways off yet, so that's still funny. So they pull up to the hotel slash dining room in Roger's car. Roger's driving. Uh, I love the shot here. You get Roger coming out of the car, and you see his left arm. You don't see his left arm. It's because it's in a sling. Really great camera work done here by the Dan Curtis production crew and Leela Swift with her direction of this. Leela Swift always did great camera work. Always directed episodes very, very well. And anytime I see something fun being done with the camera and I see Leela Swift's name is on it, I'm not shocked because I'm always impressed with her camera angles. We're telling the story that Roger is, yes, hurt still, because this is, by the way, this is still this is Vicky's first full day on the job. This is still the same day where she said she was gonna leave. It's the night of. This has been the longest day so far in Dark Shadows history. Um, so far, we'll get to tomorrow, I promise. Or will we? So Roger gets out the car. Vicky gets out the car. Again, you see the back of Roger. You see there's again. You don't see his left arm because his left arm is in a sling. And I love how when the way they shoot this. Now they've shot this angle before, but I love how they shoot it here because you get somebody coming, because we've seen people come in that entrance. Here you get people coming in the entrance and you get why they shot it from the back, because they're showing you the full effect of somebody not just getting out of the car, but somebody using one arm to do all these things. Get out the car, or sorry, drive the car, park the car, get out the car, and go into another location. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. Um, it's just good storytelling with your camera. So you have Roger Collins, Louis Edmonds' character, and Victoria Winters, Alexander Isles' character, um, come into the hotel restaurant, the dining room, if you will. Um, now we're gonna come to learn. We learned in the previous episode that Maggie went home sick. Again, it's still that same night, so Maggie went home. Sorry, with a headache. A headache. Maggie's in this episode, by the way. Catherine Lee Scott, and Roger tells her he wants her to wait here, not to let anyone see her. And he says to her, $5 to that hotel clerk and he'll find everything. Trust me, I know. He's talking about Mr. Wells. I honestly don't think you'd have to give Mr. Wells $5. Mr. Wells is a gossip king. He loves to tell people what's going on. Actually, he'll actually buy you coffee if you're drunk enough. We've seen this with Sam Evans. You don't need the money to give Mr. Wells. You just need to either A, be liquored up or B, looking for a coffee buddy. I would bring the Folgers and the coffee pot and the white filters if they had them back in the 60s. I'm sure they did. Again, I'm not that old. I'm only 41. And I would actually have coffee with Mr. Wells, and I think I would enjoy it. In fact, I know it would. That would be a lot of fun. No, but you don't need $5. But Roger is letting, in a sense, in this scene, Roger is letting Vicky know that Mr. Wells is a gossip king. He is somebody who just gives out information. That's why the $5 reference, really. That here's somebody who will give out information at the drop of a hat, or which you might want to say drop of a dime. Instead of saying that, they say for $5. Which is fine. It's letting you know how easily Mr. Wells is with giving out information. Um, Unless you put a letter in the thing, and it's not your letter that you put in there, or it's your letter that went put in there, but it's someone else who put it in there. It's got to be the person who put it in there. We're gonna learn that. So Roger goes upstairs to Burke's room and walks Mr. Sam Evans. No, this is not David Ford yet. Good. I do think this actor did a great job playing Sam. It's just, we all know what happened. I'm not going to get into that. Um, I guess I should. From everything I've heard and read, that he was spying on Alexander in the dressing room. Like, what the fuck? That's that's a bit much. By the way, you see Alexander's character is very uncomfortable around Sam Evans. You can tell here a bit that there might be something going on, and more so in this episode. By going on, you can tell that, hey, he's probably spying on her and she knows it, and she. So, by the way, he's going to be recast, Sam Evans is. But I do think the actor despite what he did, uh, I do think he did a good job planting the seeds of this character, and he did do a good job portraying him. I like here the probing, Sam Evans is probing Victoria Winters. Oh, where's Roger Collins? And she's like, huh? He goes, I saw you walk in here with Roger Collins. I was walking home and I glanced back. It's a bad habit, glancing back. You should never look back. You should always look ahead. The past. I love his dialogue here too. Again, he comes across. We hear this with David Ford too, with his Sam Evans. They're both. David Ford they kept this with David Ford. Very poetic character is Sam Evans. He's also very nosy, especially when it contains Roger and Burke, and he's probing Victoria for information. I love Victoria making the stand here. It's none of your business. For everybody that says this character just said, "Oh, I don't know," you're wrong. You're 1,000% wrong. She didn't say I don't know there. She just said it's none of your business. Yes, yes. Stand up for yourself, girl. Put your foot down. Give. I'd have. I'd have been Victoria Winters. I might have learned some wrestling moves. Dropped him with a DDT. Wrestling was around in the 60s. It was around in the circus. So now that I got my wrestling reference out the way, where's your heel in this episode? Um, as far as baby faces and heels, that jury is still very much out in Dark Shadows, at least from the heel standpoint. We have baby faces with characters who are shades of gray. You know, I don't look at Roger as a full blown heel here because really the only thing we know for sure, and I know what happens in Dark Shadows, but looking at it from a standpoint of episode 20 only, and not trying to look at it what I already do know, he's done nothing wrong. Okay, he sent the wrong man to prison. That is wrong. There he is a heel in every sense, and trying to keep it covered up makes him heel. Sure, if we're gonna jump ahead, yes, he is a heel by that definition, but he hasn't murdered and he didn't commit. He didn't take a gun and shoot nobody. He hit somebody with the car and lied about it. Was it an accident? Yeah, it probably was. And the cover up is just horrible. Um, it should have been Roger who went to jail. Should have been. Okay. So you could say Roger is, I guess, is your heel, but I talked to Don Schmidt and Susie. We were talking about Shadows on the Wall, and yes, you can see Roger's paranoia in a lot of these episodes. But like I talked about too, though David Collins is not in this episode and Liz isn't in this episode, there's paranoia in every character, and some of the characters are even more paranoid than what Roger is. Um, David Collins, anybody? Sam Evans, by the way, is a bit paranoid. Even Burke, to a degree, has some paranoia to him. But he's more suspicious. Well, actually, I would say that he's more suspicious of people than actually paranoid of them. He more thinks that everybody is lying to him and anybody will lie to him, whereas Roger is of the mindset that people are looking to stab him in the back. But Lewis Edmonds is so charming. Sometimes it's hard to give Lewis Edmonds the heel title here because he's so charming as Roger. And I do think that was intent for the character to have this charm. And Lewis Edmonds turns it on really, really well. To me, Roger is more, how do I put this? Though he's going to be revealed as a heel in every sense, it's not like he's the worst heel on the planet in DS history either. Look, before I get into lore, before I get into anybody else, I'll just compare him with Matthew. Matthew to me is more paranoid than what even Roger is. And yeah, you get that sense even when you first meet Matthew. In my opinion, you do. Now, sorry, I went off on a tangent there. It happens. It happens, okay? It is. By the way, in this episode, um, yeah, Bert goes up to the room. In fact, that's how they cut away to this. Actually, Sam says he looks up. He goes, he's up. He went up to Bert Devlin's room. He actually almost slips up and says Roger went up to Roger. No, Roger went up to Bert's room. So he flubs the line a bit, but it's all right. He recovers really well. Uh, not Meanwhile, Burke in his hotel room, in his room, he's reading the paper. He puts it down. He looks exhausted. He's ready to go to bed. He shuts off the light. He gets to his doorway of his bedroom, and there's a knock on the door. And guess what? Guess what? He turns the light back on and answers the door. And guess who it is? It's Roger Collins. Give me 1 second, guys. So Bert comes, sorry, Roger comes in and Bert, before he does, he goes, "I'm not a Bert. I'm not a ghost, Bert." Well, come in. you know, he when Bert closed the door, he goes, "Are you all right?" He goes, "Oh, I had a little bit of an accident." Roger tells him. The dialogue between Lewis Edmonds and Mitchell Ryan is superb as always. Great chemistry. Um, you also have, you know, Roger is baiting Burke here. He's trying to. But Roger's frustration shows too in this episode that Burke's Burke tells, because he does ask Burke, "How long did you wait to tell?" 5 minutes? Not at all. Not at all. He gives other scenarios, but he doesn't believe Burke no matter what. Again, to Roger, Burke is guilty as hell regardless. Uh, so there's that. You They have this very, easy, pretty soft conversation to start, but then it escalates because again, like I said, Roger is getting impatient. Burke is too. Hey, what about that business deal? Forget about the business deal. Can wait till morning. Um, and I do think you could in this episode, the person who makes Burke look suspicious isn't just Roger; it's Burke himself. Um, you know, he really does because he does. I will. Here's the thing: as much as this is why I say about it's hard to make Roger just the heel in this situation because the thing about heels is they tell the truth. Here's what I mean by this. Roger saying to Burke, "You know my sister wouldn't sell the cannery to you. You knew that. You know that one." I agree with I agree with Roger. Burke already knows that. That was established a couple episodes ago. She told Burke, "I'm not going to sell it to you." Like she told him herself. You really think Roger can convince him? Burke's not that stupid. No character is here. That's what you sort of again, Burke is more painting without knowing what actually happened to Roger other than an accident. What happened with Roger's car, because he honestly didn't do it. He's painting himself as guilty because he's very, like, oh, do I, didn't I? And by the way, when he says, I didn't touch your car, that's when Roger calls up Victoria Winters. Now, in the midst of all that, you have a very interesting at the Evans cottage. There are there are some scenes at the Evans cottage where you have the phone rings and after Sam comes in and he's talking to Maggie. You hear Maggie's voice in the distance. So yes, Catherine Lee Scott, like I said, is in this episode. You see her put on, like this little thing over her nightgown covering her arms. Um, I don't know if it was illegal to show your armpits in the 60s. It may have been, and maybe that's why they had Catherine put that on. Um, to me, she does. I don't see anything wrong with this, but I guess you say, hey, it's a little too revealing. You got to cover that up. Oh my god. Good times, good times. So, um, when the phone rings, again, Catherine isn't in the frame yet. It's actually Mr. Wells, and again, this is just a great way, something great Dark Shadows always does. Mr. Wells isn't literally in this episode from a scene standpoint, but they say Mr. Wells is the one calling. A great character mention to keep a character fresh. You also, with that phone conversation, he goes, you could tell her that another time. It's late. And he hands up. He goes, idiot, idiot. He hoped Maggie would get well. I think Mr. Wells has a crush. Yeah, that's what I think. It's Maggie Evans. Why wouldn't you have a crush on her? She's sassy. She's beautiful. Um, that's why I married my wife. It's that sass. It's that sass. I gotta tell you. Um, and you have a great conversation between daughter and father, Maggie and Sam. Uh, Maggie is saying something about the phone call about Mr. Rose was probably embarrassed because And this is where Sam realizes, oh, so you're checking up on me. And you're having people check up on Sam Evans. You know, he refers to himself as Sam. I like this, talking to yourself third person. Um, she says that she only did it tonight. She was worried about him. I believe her. Maggie Evans comes across so honest, and Kathleen Lee Scott really delivers it well. Great job. You know, she comes across as a very believable character. She was believable in the very first episode. Yeah, the wig is gone, but hey, the dark she looks better without the wig. Much better. 1,000 times better. No offense. Yes, yes, there are worse wigs than the wig that Jamie Lee Curtis wore in Halloween 2. And if you didn't know Jamie Lee Curtis wore a wig in Halloween 2, now you know. And knowing is half the battle. You can finish that sentence. So he's a little annoyed with her, you know, but again, she assures him it's only one night. He goes, "You don't have to check up on me." He goes, "I'm allowed to worry about you." And, you know, later on, you know, they're having a conversation. Maggie's, you know, hey, they can afford to buy a new car. Again, Sam is worried, you know, especially since Roger did have an accident. You know, Sam knows it wasn't, and even Sam is thinking it was Burke. So you do have, and Sam is worried for himself. Hey, if you went after Roger, he finds out about me, what's he going to do to me? Again, no one knows it was David yet. Great. It's a great buildup of suspense. Even though David's not in this episode, your mindset is on David because you have a lot of people, you know, not knowing what really happened. Yeah, everybody knows Roger's car went off the road. They don't know who really did it, though. They're going to find out. Um, just not in this episode. You have Victoria obviously coming up to Burke's room, and she says, yeah, I did see. I was going in for timetables, and I saw him holding the wrench, and you know, and he goes, of course I was holding it. He actually makes fun of, oh, you know, I did it when I removed the, no, get out of here. You know, he's being very sarcastic with him. But I do like what Burke does here. He asks Vicky point blank, he goes, did you actually see me remove it, do anything other than holding it in my hand and throw it to the bench? Because she goes, no. And she goes, of course she didn't, because by the time you were finished, she goes, get him out of here. And you know, they end up leaving, and that's the end of the episode. Oh my god. It's by finally ever, I mean, Vicky's first full day on the job has finally come to an end with this episode. Tomorrow's a brand new day in the world of Dark Shadows. Well, not quite, but it, because again, this was aired in the 60s, so it's not brand new, but you get what I'm saying. Uh, I really enjoyed the camera work in this episode, again, by Dan Curtis Productions and Leila Swift. Great job. And again, the dialogue is just really great. You have characters who are asserting themselves. Vicky has more than asserted herself in these very few episodes. This is not a woman who says, "Oh, I just don't understand." That's a load of bullshit. And you heard that right. Again, great dialogue. I really enjoyed Sam Evans's poetry in this episode. I Again, Kathleen Lee Scott knows how to make an entrance. Very good interaction between father and daughter. But again, you know, I hate to say Mitch Ryan and Lewis Edmonds steal this episode, but they are this episode in every way. They really are. I love every look. Don't get me wrong. Everybody did a great job, But Mitch Ryan and Lewis Edmonds just are superb together, and you can, not just in this episode, but even in the previous episode, in the episode when Burke was at Collinwood and they were having an interaction, you not only see the hatred for each other, but you saw the once friendship between the two men. Great, great, great storytelling. All right, guys, I'm gonna upload this video. go go watch episode 21, and then upload it. See ya.